everyone, today's card's going to be a Valentine's Day card, and first off I'm going to do the letters that I'm going to stick on the card, and I want to colour these in, so and I'm going to be using distress inks to do this, so they're going to take a bit of time to dry, so I'm going to do these first. And as you can see, there's a little bit of the packaging still left on this E that I want to sand down. So I'm using my basic grey precision file set to do that, and basically I'm just using the rounded one, and I'm going to just sand down that little nib that's still sticking out from being in the packaging, just until it's flush with the rest of the letter, and that just makes it look a little bit neater and more professional. And you can see here that it's just the way I want it. I then just stuck the letters down on a bit of scrap paper, and I'm just going over it straight from the ink pad using my distress inks. I think here I used Broken China. And then I'm just using my Perfect Pearls powder. I'm just taking a little bit out here with the end of my paintbrush, and then just adding some water to it. So essentially I'm creating a paint made out of this Perfect Pearls to make it into sort of a liquid pearl wash. I'm just using my acrylic block here because it's just wiped clean afterwards. And I'm just quickly adding the paint that I've just created to my letters, which just blends in with the distress ink, and you can see here it's got a nice sheen to it. And I just set that aside to dry. Next up, I'm using this polka dot stamp that I created myself, because the polka dot stamps are all over the place at the moment, and I just wanted some of my own. I'm waiting for an order from the US to come in for one from Hero Art, which I should be using soon. This is my Brilliance stamp pad. I think it's called Moonlight White, and it's quite good because it shows up fairly well on dark cardstock. So I'm just printing this on the bottom to give the bottom of the card a nice border, and then I've just got some scrap paper underneath my card so I don't stamp onto my work area. And here I'm just using this Hero Art scrubber pad just to clean off my stamp. I thought it was wet enough from the previous time I used it, but it's not, so I just added some cleaner spray, and I'm just rubbing off the stamp until it's clean, and then drying it on the left hand side, and then it's perfectly clean, ready to go again. Here I've just got a scrap bit of card, and I'm using this Hero Art stamp set. I think they're called Valentine Flourishes, and I want to use the heart shape out of there. I think these flourish stamps are really, really good, and you know, they're all the rage at the moment, so it's good to get some to use on your cards. I'm just going to stamp this on with Versamark ink, so you won't be able to see the impression that I've stamped, but basically I want to go over it with some white embossing powder. So I'm just tapping off the excess here as well, and then I'm just going to hit it with my heat tool. And I'm just waiting for it to dry, and then just literally going straight at it with the pad onto the stamped impression. You can use sponge if you wish, but I wanted a really deep colour. And then again I've created this liquid pearls wash with just some liquid pearls and water, and I'm just going over the whole thing so it matches those letters I did earlier on my at the beginning of this tutorial. I'm just making sure that that's all covered over properly so it gives a nice shine to it. And then you could just set this aside to dry, but I'm just force drying it with my heat gun here. So this is just like a sponge mat that I use to do all of my piercing. And I'm just going over all the ends of the patterns on this heart, and just putting a hole in each of these ends. And then I'm taking my needle that comes with this paper piercer, and I'm just going to use a bit of embroidery thread. Now I don't need the full thickness of this embroidery thread, and embroidery thread usually comes in 6 strands, and so what I do is pull one strand out at a time, and it's the easiest and quickest way to pull it out and not get it all knotted up. And then I'm putting the 2 strands together and threading them to my needle. Now I tie a knot in the end of my thread, but you can just tape it down if you wish on the back side of your design. And I'm just attaching some beads into every single one of these holes that I pierced through earlier. So just to show you, I put the needle through, thread on a bead, and then go down straight through the hole I went up through, and the bead holds it in place. And I just carried on and did that for all of them. And then to finish it off, all I got was just a bit of sellotape and just tape down that last bit so it's tight on the back of the card. And then I just trimmed around my image, leaving a small border. Okay, here I'm just marking out the size of the card that I need. I don't often measure my cardstock, I just eyeball it, and that was the size I needed. So just trim that to size, and then I'm using my corner chomper just to cut out and round the corners, just for a bit of added extra. And that's what I want it to look like. And before I stick the heart down to the card that I've just cut out, I'm just going to do a bit of faux stitching as a border. I've added some 3-dimensional stickers to the heart motif here, and I'm just sticking that down to the card that I've just cut out. And then again I'm adding a further layer of 3D stickers to adhere this down to the card base. Just lining this up before I stick it down, and when I'm happy with it I just press it. Okay, so we're nearly there now. The next bit I'm going to do is I'm just drawing myself a faint pencil line on the card just so I know where I'm going to write, because the next bit I'm going to hand write, and also just putting a handwritten line, sort of a handwritten frame if you like. I could have just done this straight away with my white gel pen, but I like to have the pencil first off, and especially with handwriting. So here I'm just sketching out the word Valentine, and you see here I went a bit off, so just rubbed out the mistake and then carried on. And if I'd have done that in white gel pen there would have been no going back, so it's a good way just to, if you're unsure, just do it in pencil first. And when you're happy with it, you can go over it with a white gel pen, which I'm about to do here. And you can see I just went really slowly. This video is recorded at 1.5 speed, so I'm going a lot slower than this in real life. There's no point in rushing it, just take your time and make sure you're getting it right. Okay, so these letters I did at the start of the video are now dry, so I'm taking those and I'm just going to lay them on my card about where I want them before I start sticking and pressing them down. A lot of the stickies come off already, so I always glue these down. And then by this time the white gel pen will be dry, so you can just go ahead and rub out the pencil marking you did earlier. And that's today's card. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!